Welcome back to Living in the Pacific Northwest with Hal Byrd. I'm Hal Byrd, and I am joined today by my lovely co-host and husband and business partner. How you doing?
I'm fantastic.
It's good to see you. I don't think the channel has seen you in a little while.
No, but it's Slow Tuesday, so I've made an appearance.
Oh.
Where am I looking at?
This is where we're filming.
Should I look into the camera? Do you have any pro tips?
No, I do both.
You do both.
For those of you who don't know, my name's Hal Byrd. I'm a local realtor in the Portland metro area, specializing in Clark County and relocations. I am a certified relocation specialist.
Where's your plaque at?
What plaque?
You're certified. I'm sure there's some certification or plaque or ribbon, medal.
There is.
Can we post? I want to hang it up for you.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'll take down this Portland sign. We'll put up your certification.
That sounds like a plan. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some different things that are going on in Vancouver with real estate, what I'm seeing on the ground right now. So if you are planning to buy, sell, or invest in the Pacific Northwest, even if you're just considering a relocation, whether that's locally, maybe you're relocating from Battleground to Camas or from Washougal to Hillsborough, I'd be happy to chat with you about what your options look like if you need to sell a property, if you're going to go from renting to owning, if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're looking towards retirement. If you're a veteran, I help clients of all different backgrounds and price points, and I'd be happy to help you. All my contact info is right there, and it's also in the description if you want to book a Zoom with me.
And if this is your first time venturing onto living in the Pacific Northwest with Hal Byrd, you mind if I share the inspiration?
Yes, please.
Just really quickly, Hal and I relocated to Washington 5 years now, 5 short, beautiful years now. And at the time we were looking to move, we had no friends, no family, no relatives, no acquaintances even in the state. And that made kind of making a decision to move very difficult. And at the time, there just weren't a lot of resources that we found helpful. So we, to a large extent, started this channel because we wanted to kind of be that resource, that friend, where if you are considering moving here, even if you're early on in your stage, like it took us a full year, calendar year, to make a decision to move, and that included even a trip, exploratory trip up here.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are in your journey, thinking about moving, kind of investigating, looking around, or if you're just in the next county over, or a few hours away on the other side of Washington State, you know, we want to just be a good resource for you. So I always just like to let people know kind of the background story.
Yeah.
The story behind the story.
I love that. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments, whether you're live or watching the replay. Maybe let us know what you like to see most on the live streams. There's a little bit of pressure because there's no mistakes. We're on live, and it's really helpful to know what you guys are looking for more, specifically when it comes to the live streams. I know you guys want more neighborhood content, and we are working on getting some of those out for you.
Yes.
This week, on Friday, we'll be publishing a new video that we recorded yesterday, and I already forgot the topic. Oh, do I regret moving to Vancouver, Washington? We're out of here, right?
I want to give a quick shout out to Wayne and Jennifer. I withhold your last name for privacy's sake, but they're some of your clients, awesome clients who relocated 3 months ago, and we had the opportunity to go to dinner with them and their family last night. And again, I'm a little bit jaded, yes, but I think that's one of the things that makes working with you special is that, it's a client relationship. You definitely take care of your business, but even after the closing, the way that you bring people into the fold, make contacts and connections and stay in touch with people, I really love that.
Yeah,
so we had a chance to actually take them to the new waterfront for their very first time.
That was really cool.
I just swore they would have been ventured down to the waterfront, but I'm glad we did.
They've been here about 3.5 months, yeah.
And we went to, am I allowed to say the name of the place?
Sure.
Even though they're not paying us?
Sure.
Tap House, right?
Waterfront Tap House.
Waterfront Tap House. It's actually a second floor restaurant, the new waterfront. So we had.
Should we show it? I can show
Yeah,
it.
let's show it real quick. And yesterday the weather was great, so we actually sat outside. Which, if anybody knows me, I know being al fresco. So I'll sit outside every day just until it gets hot. Then I'm like, you won't see me. But we sat outside, so the view was crazy, and it being their first time at the new waterfront on the Columbia, their minds were blown. And it was just so fun to watch the kids taking pictures and looking at us. We saw a bunch of sea lions in the river stealing our salmon and steelhead.
And we also found out their son loves trains, and there's
The
a
son
train-only
loves
bridge.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see it from any of these. So one of the cool things about Waterfront Tap House, it's on the second floor, so you get a really nice view of the I-5 bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other way, we got to watch the sunset. It was such a nice night.
It was a great night.
I don't think there's any photos going the other way, so.
But the other way is a train bridge that actually rotates to allow taller ships to go by. But I didn't know that the son was so enamored with trains. And it was cool because we saw an Amtrak double-decker, 2-story passenger train go in one direction. And then a little bit later, you saw this big, cargo train, I don't know, go the other direction.
And then we also got to see the train. So that train-only bridge, it actually rotates, like one section of it. You did say that?
It's okay.
Maybe I'm not fully mentally here.
I'm used to being not heard, listened to.
My brain is in a million places.
Yes, but it rotates. So if the bridge is going this way,
I'm sorry, love.
a portion of it turns to create an opening for the ships to go through. I said it, but it's okay. I'm just teasing you.
Maybe I'm just dehydrated.
But the takeaway is he was enamored with it. The daughter loved it. Wayne and Jen, they loved it being there. We took a nice little stroll after dinner, showed them the Grant Street Pier floating bridge.
Yes, and then you were a really bad influence.
And that was a really bad influence. We went to the Yard, which is a over-the-top milkshake artistry. And we probably collectively ate enough calories to last us for the next 2 weeks. But all in all, it was a great time. And it's just one of the things that we like to do. So if you guys are our clients, if you're potential clients, or if you're even just out visiting, that's just something that we really enjoy the opportunity to do, is connect with people, show them around, and then just kind of have some face-to-face time.
Yeah. Now, YouTube is telling me that it's not receiving enough video to maintain a strong stream. I can't even talk. Stream status. Let me know in the comments if we're coming through okay.
Should I guess pulling the video up on another TV probably wouldn't help, no matter how.
Yeah. Which is weird because our internet should be more than fast enough.
Did you pay your cricket bill?
Okay, we will troubleshoot that, but I think we're gonna be okay to move on. Let me know in the comments if we're coming through okay.
You know what? I thought I put in the office was a extender, Wi-Fi extender. Do you remember seeing one?
No.
Huh? Well, it sounds like I need to put an extender in the office, eh?
Okay.
But if you guys could please comment and let us know if you're watching live, how to stream and signal strength.
Yeah. We'll I guess we'll move forward. We'll jump into our topics and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we don't have to refilm this. Okay. So I did want to do a short market update just to let you guys know kind of what's going on because things have been changing. Can I get this zoomed in better?
I know, this thing looks clear to me. Oh, but I'm on Wi-Fi. But it wouldn't matter.
No, it should be fine. Okay, so these are the market stats for March. They're always, when we get published market stats as realtors, they're usually a month behind. What I do when I'm working with clients is there are certain statistics that you can pull in real time, like up to the day before. So I'll normally pull, like if we were working together right now and you wanted to know kind of what the market was doing for April, I would pull all of the stats from April 1st to April 21st. But the published ones that come out are always going to be a month behind. So this is for March. And one of the things that I thought was interesting, let's go over to the data here. So this is also the same data, but listed versus on a graphic. And if you look here, you can get a really good visual of seeing new listings are up from February. active listings are slightly up, but if you look at the pending sales, there are more pending sales than active listings sitting.
Which means there's just more activity in general.
Yeah, things are moving. More closed sales. Inventory is going down. Mind you, inventory, which is measured in months, so that's 1.7 months. The height of the at the height of the COVID sellers market, inventory would bounce between, like, it was always less than a month. Sometimes 0.8 down to 0.6. I think I even saw like 0.45 one time. So that means like 15 days of inventory, which means if there's no new listings, all of the listings that are on the market, how long will it take for them to sell? So if no new listings come on the market based on like the buyers that are in the market. So the fact that inventory is going down is a big deal, because we were starting to shift away a little bit from a seller's market, but a true balanced market, so where it's not a buyer's market, it's not a seller's market, is 6 months of inventory. So even with inventory going up from, we'll say like 0.8 up to 1.7, it's like, yeah, there is a lot more inventory, but it's not really a balanced market. It's still technically considered a seller's market. And now that multiple offers are back, it's becoming even more so that way. And that you can tell just by the rise in the average sale price. Average sale price is going back up because we have multiple offers. And I'm actually going to talk you guys through some of the offers that I've made this month.
Ooh, behind the scenes.
Yes. And actually, the 3 offers that I'm highlighting were not won by any of my clients. And that is for various reasons that we'll go into. I've won a lot of multiple offers this year so far, but these most recent 3, we weren't successful. And so I'm going to talk about what the landscape looked like and what my clients are doing to win offers and how difficult it can be to compete. I find that most of the listings fall into a few categories, which is like either they're very hot and they're going to sell in 5 days or less. And the reason for that is that most agents will make their listings live between Wednesday night and Friday in our market, and then they'll allow showings for the weekend, and they'll make offers due either Sunday or Monday. And a lot of times you can only see that in the MLS. So if you aren't working with a realtor in the market, you're not going to be able to know that this house, you see it listed on Zillow or Redfin, and you're like, oh, this is a great house. I'm going to keep an eye on it and see if it'll be there, in a couple weeks. But you don't see that they have offers due, or you don't see the private notes that we can see as realtors that says, oh, we have 3 offers received. Please submit all offers by 9 p.m. tonight. We're reviewing tomorrow. So if you want to have an opportunity to get your offer in, you need to know those things. So this is kind of just a visual to show you what's been changing. It's very interesting. I find total market time to be one of the most interesting because there are a lot of houses that are falling out of contract also. I find that to be very high. And actually, one of the houses that I'm going to show you an example of is that. So I do want you guys to know a couple things. One, you can search for homes on my site at homewithhal.com, and you can see all of the updated statuses and kind of what's going on. So this is the first house example. You actually saw this house. So what did you think about this house? I'm going to show them some of the photos.
I quite like that house. Primarily the scale of the house. Like, I'm a big fan, like not necessarily square footage, but just scale. So like when you walk in the house, the rooms were, I would say oversized. So it just had like a very grand feeling to it. A lot of light. Had a pretty cool back deck with a solar panel roof cover. Some nice finishes. Like the had kind of, what are these floors called?
Like cherry floors.
Cherry floors, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I think their heyday is a decade or so past. But it was a really nice house. It was. I'm very critical of the housing prices, being an investor, and a lot of times if I tag along with Hal on a showing, very often I don't think the value of the house is worth. The house isn't worth the value. Just looking at it from an investor's eyes, right? Looking for a certain.
Even though the market dictates the price.
Even though the market is really all that matters, right? But just again, looking at it as an investor, I'm always looking for value. So and for ways of forced appreciation and force of profit. But this house, and very rarely when I look at a house, I'm like, oh, this is, I can see this being, at least from a perceived value standpoint, it's worth every bit of the asking price, if not more. So for what it's worth.
And so this house is pending now. It went pending today. My client submitted an offer. Yeah. And when they submitted their offer, I called the listing agent. So there's a couple things that I do for my clients. I will always call the listing agent after we see it to let them know that we're planning on writing an offer, because if they have an offer in hand that they find acceptable and we can beat it, I want them to know that we might have something. So sellers, don't sign that offer. Don't put it, don't mark it pending yet. Let's see if there's something that my clients can do. And that often gives us a little bit of an edge. And I do, I think, a really good job of building rapport with my fellow agents, and people underestimate how far that goes. But I have won so many offers because the agent thinks that myself and my buyers will be the better party to work with. And that's down to the details, all the things that you would never see. And I've done videos about this, but you never see as a consumer, as a buyer, or as a seller, and the communication that goes back and forth between agents makes such a big difference in your perceived value as a buyer, because I'm your agent representing you. So the more organized and detailed and thorough and thought out and easy to work with I am, makes you look better, makes your offer look better.
Right. This is called competency where I'm from. So, and it's no indictment, kind of, sort of is, but when we look at real estate agents, then it's the same for anybody, real estate investors or plumbers or doctors, right? Like you have the 80-20 rule applies, right? So you have the top 20% and 80% everybody else. So, you are extremely competent. I think you deserve a raise, actually.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I don't know anyone that's going to turn down a raise with these inflation rates. So... oh, wait, we have a comment. Let's see. Marcos Jr. says hi. Hello, Marcos. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for the comment. Thanks for joining.
And for the like.
Whoever
liked the video, thank you. Okay, so when my client submitted an offer, we're going to have to run through this faster. There were 2 offers in hand. They were cash, not at asking price yet. My clients came in at asking price. The offer deadline was Sunday, and this is the most recent offer submitted, so the details are still really fresh. And the deadline was 6 p.m. to submit on Sunday, so I called the agent at 5:15 and I said, hey, I'm getting ready to send over my client's offer. It's all signed. Did you receive any other offers since we spoke this morning? Yes, actually, we got 2 more offers that are both over asking.
Oof.
So then I said, okay, let me talk to my clients. I will have an offer to you before 6 p.m. I call my clients up, and I had already pre-discussed with them, they might be getting other offers. What is the max price you're comfortable at? What are you comfortable? Do you want to keep your offer the same and just see how it goes? Do you want to possibly adjust? So we talked through all that a little bit beforehand, and then when I got confirmation that there were 2 new offers that came in that were above list price, we had that discussion. They did modify their offer, and we submitted. And we found out today that they were not successful, unfortunately. So on this house at $875, there were 5 offers on the property. 2 of them were cash. 3 of them were over asking.
Wow.
And we don't know exactly at what price, because a good listing agent, which is what I do for my clients, will keep the pending price confidential until closing, because if that house goes back on the market and maybe a potential buyer thought that house was going for $900,000, but it was only actually under contract for $885, that might affect their decision if that property comes back on market. So it's better to not share. So more than likely the listing agent will not share that. We'll just have to see on this one. But that's a very high price point, and interest rates are not anywhere near where they were in 2020.
Right.
So one of the things that I see some of my clients struggle with is like, why are there so many offers when the interest rates are high? And it's like, well, seasonally we had a bit of a an inventory dip and an activity dip over the winter, which we didn't have for the past couple of years because of COVID, but now we're getting more traditional seasonality in our market. And buyers come out in March, April, May. The highest inventory levels are May, June, and July in our market. And so it is heating up seasonally, even though national headlines will tell you, oh, housing markets, I was going to say a word I probably shouldn't say on live stream. The housing market's not doing so well.
Is it malarkey?
It's malarkey. It's an interesting, challenging time, and I would say that it really makes sense for some people to buy right now, and it makes zero sense for others to buy. So I would encourage you to have that conversation with myself if you want to use me as your realtor, or whoever you're using as your real estate professional, to see if it's something that makes sense. I ran a poll on my Instagram earlier in the week, maybe over the weekend. So if you don't follow me, make sure you go follow me on Instagram at @HalByrd_. But I ran a poll and I was asking people, like, what are you planning to do? Are you planning to move this summer because you have to? Maybe you're like already chosen to relocate, your house is listed in another state, or job relocation, divorce, whatever the case is. Or are you waiting to 2024? Or are you just unsure about the time right now? And most of the comments were either people are waiting for 2024, which can make sense if you're working on your credit or you're saving for a down payment, or people were just unsure. Like, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. And I can definitely understand that, because it's, even when during the COVID sellers market, people are saying, well, I'm going to wait till the prices come down. Okay, when is that? Interest rates went up to 7% and prices barely moved down. Barely. So it's a very, very interesting time.
I wanted to say something, though, just real quick, because I guess the caveat being, because if I'm hearing what you just said about the multiple offers, over asking, as a buyer or a potential buyer, it makes my head, get lightheaded. Like, geez. However, again, at least in our area, and hopefully you know a little bit about it. If not, stick around, watch some videos. But this is in Camas, which is probably the highest sought after area in all of Greater Vancouver, and to some extent,
and
Greater Vancouver and Portland Metro.
Neighborhood of Camas, let alone.
I was going to say that. So, again, from a desire standpoint, it's like anything else, right? Like the car market as a whole could be cooling off, but if I'm in love with a Range Rover, for example, right? Because there's a certain premium on that car and it's desirable, the new model came out, whatever the case may be in context, I expect to pay more. Although it doesn't make me feel better when, dealers like, oh, well, we're charging over asking or something like that. So just
what do you
putting
tell
in
them
the
when
context.
they tell you that they're charging over asking?
I just go like this.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pound sand.
Just like this.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You're going to kick me off your show, aren't you?
It's a family-friendly show, okay?
If you guys want to see me invited more or less, put in the comments. I'm laughing because I'm drinking out of a little Stanley, but mine's is like a sippy cup.
Compared to mine?
I took a sip of mine. It's like a sippy cup when I was a kid.
Or everything is oversized these days and it's just a normal size.
I don't care. I like it. So.
The other thing I was going to say is that in this particular, so that neighborhood is Prune Hill. In this particular subdivision in Prune Hill, 0 homes have been listed in the last year. There was 1 home sold in the subdivision in the last year. So if you knew that you wanted to be in this subdivision,
you got to pay to play.
This is what you might have been waiting for.
Which is tough. So.
Okay, so the next house, it's really going to make me log in on my own website.
Professor Nick has a new video. If you guys are into geology, which we were talking last night with Wayne and Jen about kind of our newfound love for geology after moving here. There's just so many natural phenomena. But on YouTube, there's a professor. Can I say this real quick? Am I going to hold you?
No, you're good.
So there's a professor who actually posts his lectures on YouTube, and I normally wouldn't be eager to see a professor's lecture, but he talks about geology in the Northwest primarily, and he does it in a way that is just so animated and engaging and enthralling. And his name is Professor Nick Zeitner. He's a professor at Eastern Washington University. So if you guys get a chance, search that and
Maybe we can find out when he's speaking next and do a video.
we actually had a chance to see him live in Portland at a
So
GSOC event before
pre-COVID.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
we should definitely do a video about that.
We should do a video about that.
This is the next house. Similar price point, also Prune Hill. Same clients. This house is interesting because it's been on the market. How many days off the top of my head? Like more than 75 days, probably 80 days now.
Whoa. Did I see that house?
No.
Oh.
So my clients went to the open house when they were in town, and so they've seen it in person. This house is like, they like the scale of it, they like the views, but the interesting thing about this, there's some things I can't share that the listing agent told me confidentially, but they are very firm on their price, and my clients, wanted to get a better price on it, and we put in an offer, and the sellers were not willing to budge. So you do have some of that, and I would say the sellers have reason to expect that price. Like, it's a very reasonable thing for them to expect it. And what a lot of people don't realize is that when you have homes like this that have appreciated, a lot of sellers they don't have to sell their home. I have buyers right now that do not have to sell their home to buy a house here. So and it's this interesting place, I guess, that our economy or society is in, where like some people can have to like scratch and claw to buy a house and save for years, and like it's very challenging for, I would say, like the average person. And I also deal with a lot of clients who have paid cash for homes that are anywhere from $750,000 to into the $1 million mark, or who are able to buy a home that is, north of $500,000 without selling their existing home, meaning that the bank thinks they can carry both mortgages. And sometimes my clients will rent those out. Sometimes they'll sell them later. Sometimes they will just have two homes, and travel. And so it's very interesting. I don't even want to say dichotomy. I think that might be a little bit extreme, but the landscape is just interesting. So when you're looking at this and you're like, well, $900,000, if the seller was in a position where they don't have to sell and they have a low interest rate, the rents have continued to go up, but most people had refinanced to these low interest rates during the COVID sellers market. The difference between what someone can rent their house for and what their payment is actually makes it reasonable for a lot of sellers to say, well, I'd like to sell it for this price, but if I don't, like, I have options. And so that's also a challenge for buyers in this market. Then we have this house, so kind of switching gears to a more rural property for those of you guys who are looking. We love rural properties. We love the rural areas out here. You can see this is pending. This is out in Yakult. I'm going to scroll down to the map and show you guys where that is, because if you're watching this and you're like, where is Yakult? This is some context. So here is Vancouver. There's Camas.
I tell you, I love your map and screen share play.
No, you don't. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
It's very nice. I get a lot out of it when I watch.
Thank you. Judy says she loves geology.
Oh, Judy is... Hey, I think I turned Judy on to Professor Nick.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
So Yakult is north of Battleground. If you go north on 503. So a bit more rural property. This property was on 4 acres. And let me see if I can show you guys some more of what this looked like. So this was listed at $550. Also a multiple offer situation. How many offers were on this one? 3? I think it was 3 offers on this one. Really nice property if you wanted animals or if you just wanted space to roam. And
What's up with you? Did you change your email or your stuff lately? No?
I am logged in. It just, I don't know why it logged me out. Okay.
Maybe you're not certified.
So it had some really nice features. 3 beds, 2 baths. What was the square footage on this one? 3,518 square feet. because it has a basement. So it's a 2-story house, which you can see from the front. Let me see if I can find a picture of the back or of the basement for you guys. My client came in slightly over asking. Here's a picture of the basement. So it's a walkout basement, which does have a premium. There's a couple things that this house had that I thought were really special. Number one, the primary suite was on the main level. So it's very good for people who want to be able to age in place. The remaining bedrooms were on the second floor, and then there was a basement, and that could be, you could have really done anything with it. There's a ton of square footage down there, and like this was a finished section of the basement, but I would say it was kind of a blank slate in terms of what you could do with it.
It was.
There's a picture of the deck. The deck totally needs to be scrapped and repaired, which is part of the reason why it was listed at $550. It needed some work, but not an extensive amount of work. And here's a picture of the land. So really nice view. And in this case, my client went over asking. I think we weren't going to ask the sellers for any repairs after inspection, so we just wanted to make sure that what the sellers disclosed needed work was the only things that needed work. And so that's a strategy that I use when helping my clients construct an offer. I would say that's one of the things that I'm the best at when it comes to like structuring offers that are competitive. And then sometimes, like in the case of these 3 homes, all the structuring and the terms in the world don't make a difference if the seller and the buyer cannot agree on a price, or if you are getting outbid on price. And what a lot of sellers will do, let's say that you're selling your house and I'm representing you and we get multiple offers and you like the terms of the lower offer better, but you also want more money. What do? Well, you counter the highest offer with the terms that you liked from the lower offer and see if that higher offer will come up to the terms that you want. So in the case of the seller in Yakult, they wanted a lease back. They wanted to stay in the property for a set period of time after closing so that they had more time to move. My client gave them more time than they asked for. So we did everything just a little bit extra than what the seller wanted on terms. But at the end of the day, price won out. And at that point, there's nothing you can do. So I really like to try to help my clients be competitive on things outside of price. Like in order to get your offer accepted, what I'm seeing right now, like you do, unless you find a house that has been on the market for a while, and we're talking like at least 2 to 3 weeks, prices.
Just say that's a while. 2 to 3 weeks is a while.
I know it is. It sounds crazy, but you know, if the property has been on the market for more than 30 days, like your chances of negotiating are going to be a little bit better. But I've also had situations where I submit an offer on a property that's been on the market, and what do you know, we're in a multiple offer situation. Nobody's made an offer on this house in a month, and all of a sudden everybody wants it. Like, why? It's weird. So, you know, there's a lot of things to consider and strategies that we can use. And, you know, you may have to compete on price, and that's a fluid situation, but I kind of wanted to update you guys on that. So we're not going to spend too much more time on the real estate side of things because we do want to share with you some local happenings.
Yes.
So we are moving on to current events. I guess every time we get on live, we're like, okay, this isn't going to be like too long. Judy says, yes, thank you. Love Professor Nick. This isn't going to be too long. And then you guys are hanging with us and we're like, okay. By the way, make sure to like the video. It really, really helps us out. It doesn't cost you guys anything. You get to do a good deed for the day. It's your, what do you do when you pick up the screws in the street? What do you call it?
It's our
random act of kindness.
Oh, yeah.
So he's single-handedly.
You should tell him about and encourage people to do that too.
So when we go out on our walks, he sometimes, like, for some reason, I don't notice them, but he'll notice like screws in the road. And I think like yesterday on our walk, he picked up 4 screws, and he's like, I said this to you actually. You saved 4 people from getting flat tires or screws in their tires or just causing a headache. So that's something kind of nice to do.
I'm a little bit of a idealist, but I always think in my head, I'm like, if everybody did what I did, and it wasn't any, I mean, you actually picked them up because I didn't feel like bending down, at least for 2 of them. Remember, I asked you to pick it up.
Yeah, that's not so bad. But you also had a
I have
35-pound weight vest on.
I walk with a weighted vest, so I just didn't feel like bending over. And you're closer to the ground, being shorter. So you did some work too. But and in my head, I'm like, if everybody just did this, if you see a screw in the road or a nail in the road or something that could mess somebody's car up that you wouldn't want in your tire, and you pick it up, or if there was a saying.
You also did something else really nice last night at the yard because you bought that.
I bought a bum and shake.
You can't call people bums and then
What is
do
the word?
something nice.
What's the word for it?
I don't know. A houseless person.
I bought a houseless person to shake.
A milkshake.
A milkshake.
Yes, you did.
But going back to the other thing though, because to me this is like, all right, like like we all have big plans, I think, and the plans get smaller as we get older. But I just feel like as a society, if you have what I call the basics, morals, values, integrity, and like, you just do stuff that you don't want other people to do. But there was a saying I came across recently, and it says, if everyone just swept in front of their house, right? Like the neighborhood will look totally different. And then, extend that to, okay, if you're on a walk and if you see a can or a cup or something that some trifling person littered with, pick it up and put it in the trash can if it's not too far out of the way. And I just feel like if everybody did little stuff like that along the way, I mean, what would our communities look like?
JB for president.
Stop it.
2024.
Stop it.
So
Maybe
Illinois.
I should throw my hat in the ring. Everybody else
went down
this
that
is
road
like
already.
This is like declare your intent season, huh?
Yeah, but we went down that road already. That's a story for another day.
Another day.
Okay, Illinois Hotel celebrates opening with ribbon cutting ceremony April 24th. So yesterday, Illinois, which is the casino, the Cowlitz Indian tribe, operates that casino in Ridgefield. If you're thinking about Ridgefield and you're like, I don't want to live near a casino, it is pretty far north from most of the new construction. So I'm just saying that as an aside. I think it's a really nice fixture in the community. Personally, we were actually supposed to go see Wanda Sykes for a friend's birthday, and it sold out instantly. So they do get some pretty good names out there, like big names.
Boys to Men. They've had Lionel Richie, and I mean they've had a lot of good, decent sized names. Matter of fact, we found out that this is Snoop Dogg and somebody else performing there, or is that the fairground?
Yeah, somewhere else, but it's in Ridgefield.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess, now complete. I think they're going to start taking bookings in, I thought June, but you said you saw somewhere they said sooner.
I thought like starting next week. I mean, can we just skim the, because yesterday or the 24th, yesterday was a private ribbon cutting. I tried to get in, they bounced me up out of there. But I said, when's the next opportunity? And wait a minute, I can't read that.
Oh, sorry.
Scroll down, please.
Right here, it offers 4 diamond level service
and
amenities.
You can tell me about it first, and then we can talk about.
Including nearly 300 luxury guest rooms.
Luxury, huh?
That's what they say.
Let's see. So look,
it sure looks nice.
Spiritual leader. So it says now open.
Now open is the latest phase of the Cowlitz Indian Tribe's master development plan. So there's a rumor that we're going to get an In-N-Out in Southwest Washington.
In-N-Out is a very famed and good burger place from the West Coast.
Do people really not know what In-N-Out is?
If I didn't live here, I wouldn't know what In-N-Out is.
You never heard of In-N-Out before you went to California?
No. Why would I know if I didn't know? It's like asking you if you ever heard of Acme Supermarket. You heard Acme, you thought I was joking.
I did think you were
joking. That's like a East Coast name.
I was like, that's really the name of the grocery store?
Acme.
Indoor-outdoor pool experience. I'm all giggly now. Experience complete with cabana service and a signature top-floor Italian-influenced restaurant, Bella Vista, with floor-to-ceiling windows that capture the panoramic scenery from the beautiful Cascade Mountains to the foothills of the coastal range.
I know where I'm going next time I get paid.
We are thrilled to welcome guests and offer the opportunity to extend it. So it is open. It's gorgeous. And they also have really good restaurants. I think we're going to do a client event this summer. We're going to do the Illinois seafood buffet.
Sunday brunch.
Is that what it is?
Uh-huh. You don't eat seafood, do you?
I don't.
So I couldn't get you to go. But Sunday brunch. It's a Sunday brunch.
I'll have, what do I eat? Orange juice, potatoes, and pancakes or something. French toast, whatever's there.
Put in the comments. Put in the comments if you'd like to see us feature the new Illinois Hotel on the channel. It's something we've been passing. We pass it probably at least once or twice a week.
From the time when there was literally nothing there.
Yeah, so to see it kind of spring up out of the ground right off of I-5, Interstate 5 is really cool. So let us know in the comments if you'd like to see us maybe check out the hotel.
And if you're into, like casinos and stuff like that, if you're familiar with Pechanga, Illinois reminds me of like a smaller version of Pechanga, and it hasn't been open that long. Like I think it opened in 2017 or something. It wasn't that long before we moved here that it opened, so it's still relatively new. So that's going on. Then we have East Clark County mixed-use development to feature open-air lifestyle. So this is an area off of, I guess I need to pull up maps so I can show you where it is.
That's a great idea.
How do I do this? Because... Hold, please. I don't know if I can share this.
Oh.
I have a bunch of personal information
Oh boy.
On my maps, like
in your history,
like client homes, and I don't know how to make it without opening a new tab, and I think that's gonna mess me up. Okay, I think we're gonna pass on sharing. Okay, we'll talk about this and then I'll see if I can figure out a way to show it to you guys realistically without giving up my clients' information and data and such. Okay, so where this is located is basically on the very southern border of Vancouver and Camas, and it's called Columbia Palisades. It is one of the bigger developments that is happening in the Greater Vancouver area. We've talked about the Vancouver Innovation Center, which is also happening in East Vancouver. And I like that these developments are happening because right now, like we went out to the waterfront last night, and that's one of the best places to go out, to entertain, to meet with people. It's clean, it's new, it's sexy. There's a little bit of like family friendliness, but if you are, it's definitely not a crowd. Like when I was growing up, the local mall was like infested with us teenagers.
Was it?
But I would say like I see more like the grown and sexy crowd at Vancouver. Like there's 6 tasting rooms, I think, plus Dos Olas, which is kind of
Vegas and Vancouver.
Yeah, what we call Vegas and Vancouver in the best way, like in a complimentary way.
If you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, if you're into it.
Or you go for lunchtime like us yahoos could do.
Yeah, like us people who can't be bothered with the, which, I mean, if you look at their Instagram, you'll know why we go for lunch. When we do go, which isn't very often, it is spendy, but the times we've been, we're like, we'll be there for lunch. And even, we went there once, like, late in the afternoon, and it was starting to get like that, and we're like, okay, well, we're underdressed, and the vibe is changing over. So anyway, yeah, I think that the waterfront Vancouver is a great area. I don't like that that's the name of the development, the waterfront Vancouver, because it sounds awkward. It doesn't roll off your tongue.
The waterfront Vancouver sounds
Yeah, that's the official
backwards.
name of the development.
Oh.
So anyway, Columbia Palisades.
We call it colloquially the new waterfront.
Yeah. So on the east side, I like that the east side, the plan from everything I've heard from like city council and stuff like that is that the Vancouver Innovation Center and Columbia Palisades are going to be more, they're going to bring an attraction like the new waterfront that's south of downtown Vancouver, right on the river, to the east side of town. And then you also have the Camas-Washougal port that's developing their waterfront.
You did a live about all of the planned and proposed waterfront developments recently.
Yeah, port projects, but that
Port
didn't include
projects.
this one, which is the Palisades.
Which isn't on the water tip.
Yeah, so this is really nice. So if you're planning on living in like southeast Vancouver or Camas, this will be really, I think, cool development over the next few years. And I actually had clients who bought a property near there, and they're very much looking forward to being able to walk to some of these amenities that they're planning. So Romano Capital, which is a local developer, and also Cascade Development Partners, released their plans for, here's a little map so you can see. This is Highway 14. It's not as interactive as Google Maps, but it'll do. There's an existing Vancouver clinic here, and this is the area that they're working on developing. Also, on the west side of 192nd here, this is the former quarry.
Rock quarry.
I don't know why I have such trouble pronouncing that.
Quarry.
Quarry or query?
Quarry.
Quarry. I think you say it with an East Coast accent that I can't replicate.
Correctly.
So,
I was trained classically, okay?
I'm
Quarry.
sure.
Try it.
Say it again.
Quarry.
Quarry.
Like Corey.
Quarry. Quarry.
Like the guy, Corey.
It still sounds weird coming out of my mouth.
I'll work on her. Sure.
So this side is also going to be developed. So it's going to be on both sides of 192nd, which is really nice. So this is the first time that I'm aware of that we're seeing any of the plans, and you can see kind of what they're looking to develop is this like open air space, 5 to 7 story buildings. Oh, look at that. That's like an actual photo.
Of what?
Of where they're going to develop it. This is like that northeast corner where that light is.
Wait a minute.
So this is when this is the road. This is 192nd when
Going
you come
down
off
towards the river.
No, coming off 14.
Okay.
Then if like we're going up to Prune Hill, you make a right here. You go around the roundabout.
Oh.
And then if you go this way, it takes you up to Boulder Ridge and like these homes up here.
Gotcha. Huh.
So this is where it is, and like this back here, that's where.
And there's already a building there, right? The doctor's office or the clinic or something.
Yeah, that's where the Vancouver clinic is.
Back there.
Yeah, right here, where my.
How come they don't have
cursor is.
anything there? Because I guess they're not highlighting that because it's not the new development.
I think it's behind this building because that's the parking lot. Like if you zoom in, that's the parking lot of the Vancouver clinic. I think the building is like right here.
So these are all looks like 5 to 7 story buildings.
Yeah, and they basically they took a real photo and then superimposed this.
Understand.
This what do you call it? Projection. So I think that's something that's exciting for the East Vancouver. So if you're leaning that way and you're like, well, I want to have some cool amenities to go to, East Vancouver is going to be even more cool and awesome. I really like East Vancouver. Coming up. What else do we have for you? I think we're going to skip this one. We already did a lot. Some events coming up, 2 that we wanted to highlight, and then we're out of here. So if you have any questions or comments, now is the time to drop them in the comments. So the first is the Home and Garden Idea Fair. If you're looking to, or if you are a gardener, starting April 29th, that's coming up. What day of the week is that?
It's Saturday, Sunday, isn't it?
Or is it Friday? I can't count. Saturday. So starting this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6, and then Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 is the 30th anniversary Clark Public Utilities. That is our local utility company for electric for all of Southwest Washington. And then if you live outside of a municipality that provides water, they also provide your water service. So if you live in Salmon Creek, Hazel Dell, Orchards, Brush Prairie, any of the unincorporated areas that don't provide their own service. So like Ridgefield has their own water, City of Vancouver, City of Camas, Washougal, they all have their own water companies. So Clark Public Utilities. One of the nice things about living here, if you are coming from an area that's not as, even though Vancouver is growing a lot, it still has some of, to me, the best things about a small town. So if you need to call the utility company up, you can easily get someone on the phone at the courthouse, at the county office. I love that about
It's like small town living.
Yeah, like you call someone up and at the courthouse and they're like, hello. Like it makes things super easy. I haven't tried to call the DMV, but that's because I think our DMV is so well run that I've never needed to call like.
It's faster to go into the DMV than call it. That's how well run it is.
Yeah, and like just scheduling online is easy. So anyway, it's a side note. So if you want to join them at the Home and Garden Idea Fair, they have plants for sale, and it says more than 150 vendors are going to be there. It's $6 for parking, but free admission. Also going back to Southwest Washington, and one of the things I'm talking about in the video that's coming out on Friday is that this area doesn't nickel and dime you for everything. They're not charging $20 for admission and $10 for parking. It's $6 to park and then free admission. So we love that about the events that are here.
Is one Hal Byrd of living in the Pacific Northwest with Hal Byrd going?
I do not share my whereabouts for safety and security reasons.
Okay. I'll just have to hang out all days and hours to see.
Yeah, if you're really nice, I'll let you know where I'm going to be, okay?
Okay. I would like to do that, though. Home and garden ideas?
Yeah, it sounds fun. Apparently 15,000 other people find it cool enough that they go every year for the 2-day show.
Have we ever been?
No. Esther Short Park, the playground is reopening. If you remember, there was some damage to it, and they had to tear it down and close it. So that's reopening also this Saturday at 11 a.m., so you never know where we're going to be. Also, if you've run into us in the wild, please say hi. So the new playground design highlights a double slide and play hill, boulder scrambler, climbing dome, all these things. And Esther Short is what I tell people. Vancouver technically has a central park, but it doesn't function as a central park. Esther Short Park functions as our central park. It is a park that hosts events and gatherings and movies in the park and concerts in the park in the summer, and is a very central part of the city. So not central geographically, but central to life in Vancouver.
That's a good way.
That's where the farmers market is, which is also going on this weekend. So perfect time, because let me show you, maybe for those of you who are going to be watching the replay in the future, what the weather is like. I shouldn't say we. I am so excited, and many people are so excited, except for one, Mr. Byrd, for the weather that is coming, because we have, let me see, share my screen. There we go. We have warmth coming. Normally we have our first 70-degree day, I found out, between like late March, early April, and we have not had a 70-degree day yet. What's the temperature right now?
That's fair.
Not
54 degrees.
So tomorrow it's going to be 74 degrees, and we're going to have an 80-degree days Friday and Saturday. So the sun's going to be out. It's going to feel so nice. It's going to feel like spring. It's already sunny today, and I'm so excited. I don't know if you can tell the difference in my mood.
It's too bright outside.
I'm very happy. So I think that's everything. Thanks for hanging out.
I've been looking into going to Calgary, by the way. Now.
Calgary.
Yeah, one of our comments we got last time, I forget, the young lady said the weather would be more to my liking.
I thought it was Alberta.
That's what I meant to say.
Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us in this nearly hour-long live stream. We really appreciate all of you guys being here. I hope it was valuable to you.
Let us know if you like this, the format, and let us know if there are other live topics. Live topics typically can be a little bit more, like current events, market stuff, because obviously that doesn't stand the test of time. So we try to come live just to have a little bit different, angle on the channel.
Yeah, interaction.
Interaction, yes.
Gotham Guy said, I went to the Home and Garden Fair in SoCal, and it was amazing. Definitely a must-see. We might have to check it out.